Dale Mercer adjusted the temporal scanner strapped to his wrist, the screen flickering with faint blue lines that formed a web across the fabric of time. He stood alone in a decaying 1970s diner, a relic warped not by age but by chronal instability. The loop here reset every 12 minutes, trapping broken moments like flies in amber. Grease sizzled endlessly on a stove that never finished cooking, and a waitress poured phantom coffee into the same cup with ritualistic precision, over and over. Dale watched with practiced detachment. He wasn't a tourist. He wasn't here for nostalgia or the thrill of watching Elvis breathe. He was a repairman, one of the few assigned to clean up the mess left behind by careless time travelers and corporate clients with too much money and too little responsibility. A thin pulse from the scanner drew his eyes upward. A temporal fracture hovered above the register, a faint shimmer, visible only to someone trained to see the dissonance between what was and what should be. He approached, boot heels echoing on the checkerboard floor. As he raised the device to seal the breach, something strange happened. The waitress looked at him. Not a programmatic glance. Not a looped behavior. Her eyes locked onto his, narrowing with an emotion that didn't belong to this place or time. Recognition. And then the loop snapped. The diner's moment collapsed back on itself, resetting like clockwork. The coffee poured again, the eggs began sizzling, and the stare never happened. But Dale felt it. Inside his mind a foreign warmth flared, a memory he didn't own. He saw a park. His mother's laughter. The sun painting their shadows long and gold. A boy, himself much younger, grinning up at her as she ruffled his hair. Impossible. His mother never laughed. She left when he was 6, without a word or note. The childhood he remembered was cold, fragmented, defined by the sound of doors closing and silence stretching long into night. The scanner chimed, jarring him from the memory. Anomaly logged. But not in the diner. In him. The rain came down in sheets, slicing across the cracked skylight of the abandoned mall. Dale Mercer stood inside its hollow shell, soaked to the bone but unmoving, eyes fixed on the rusted carousel that groaned in the wind. Beneath its rotted base, hidden in a vault of warped time, lay the truth, or at least a fragment of it. He crouched and pried open the panel again, hands trembling slightly. The black memory cube he'd recovered pulsed faintly, emitting heat like a living thing. He hadn't dared to open it fully since that day. Not until now. With a deep breath, he activated the interface. The carousel shimmered. The air around him folded inward, and suddenly he wasn't alone. Laughter echoed, the joyful shrieks of children, the gentle hum of calliope music, a woman's voice calling his name. For a moment the mall was alive again. Oh! He turned toward the voice and saw her. His mother. Not as he remembered, but older, wiser, softer around the edges. She looked at him like she knew him, not as the boy who was left behind, but as the man who had finally come home. Dale staggered back. It wasn't real. Couldn't be. The cube was projecting what once was, or what might have been. He tried to speak, but the projection rippled and dissolved, revealing not her but a man. Clean suit. Crooked smile. A badge bearing the ChronoStat insignia gleamed from his chest. Dale recognized him instantly. Gavin Holt, former senior field tech. Long thought erased. I knew you'd find it, Holt said, stepping out of the haze. Curiosity always was your flaw. Dale's breath caught. You changed my timeline. I corrected it, Holt replied calmly. You weren't meant to be part of this division. You were supposed to build houses in Montana, marry young, raise 2 children, die old and peaceful. But you kept nudging things. You got too close. So I diverted your path. Anger boiled beneath Dale's skin. You erased my life. Holt's smile didn't falter. No. I saved you from a worse one. Your wife died in that original thread. Car accident 2004. You spiraled hard. You tried to use your training to bring her back. That nearly fractured 4 major timelines. You would have destroyed everything. And now? Dale asked bitterly. What have I become? A function, Holt said. Stable. Predictable. You fix what's broken. But you weren't supposed to remember. The cube pulsed again. Data from the erased timeline continued to flow into Dale's mind. Memories that weren't his but felt like they'd always been there. Birthdays. Fireplaces. A daughter with green eyes just like his. I don't care about your calculus, Dale said. You made that decision for me. Holt's expression darkened. You can't bring it back. That life. It's gone. Time doesn't allow replays. I don't want a replay, Dale said, voice low. I want the truth. And I want the ones who buried it held accountable. You won't live long enough to try. Holt raised a chronodisruptor, a weapon capable of erasing Dale's temporal thread in less than a second. Dale didn't flinch. He tapped a button on his scanner, and suddenly the projection reversed. He was the one holding the disruptor. Holt blinked. You copied my signal. No, Dale said. I remembered it. He fired. Holt vanished in a flicker of collapsing moments. His echo scattered to whatever edge time allowed for traitors. Dale stood alone again. The carousel slowed, groaned once, and came to a full stop.